Okay. So what every one of us are looking for in life. One thing for which we do everything in life. Everything else we do in life for this one thing. Money. But what money for? For example, we have the money of the whole world and there is no money in this world. So will that money give happiness? Is fulfillment very nice? Love, inner peace. What you're working hard for in this world. Yeah? Validation. Okay. Yes. So we take care of family, go to work, manage a business, go to school, go to movies and restaurants. Buy this home, you become happy. Right? Buy this car, you become happy. So much advertisement industry is growing. It process, okay, somebody purchased this house and become very happy. So we are all looking for happiness. Isn't it? Inner fulfillment. First step is peace. Only when you're peaceful, you can experience that happiness. So we are looking for one thing. So we have three kinds of peace. See, generally, whenever some needs is fulfilled, we feel to be happy, isn't it? Whenever some need is fulfilled, we feel happy. If you're looking for a job, you get a job, you feel happy. You're looking for a home, you get a home, you feel happy. Right? So you're looking for respect, and you get respect, you feel happy. You're looking for success, you get success, you feel happy. So there's physical happiness, psychological need, and there's emotional need. We need relationships too, doesn't it? But there is one happiness, one kind of happiness, one kind of need. Now, generally in this world, our happiness depends upon the other thing. Happiness depends upon the things. If we get them, if the people behave the way we want, we'll be happy, otherwise we'll be miserable. But there's one kind of happiness which doesn't depend upon anything external. And that's what the Bhagavad Gita's teaching is spiritual need. A deer, a musk deer, when he's wandering the forest, the musk smell is coming from him. And he doesn't realize it's coming from him. He's searching for it in the forest, but it's coming from him. So same way the Bhagavad Gita tells us the source of happiness is within ourselves when we understand who we are and who God, and that spiritual happiness is not dependent upon anything else. And that's what the spiritual need of the Gita fulfill. And without that need, many other things in life does not give happiness. Many big personalities, big stars, they have money, they have fan following. But if you go and talk to them, inner self, they feel so empty. They feel so empty because of spiritual need. And if you have the spiritual need, then whatever other needs you fulfill, that also brings happiness with us there. And that's what the Bhagavad Gita is talking about. Even some people engage in philanthropy, social welfare, they feel happy. But if you do it for God, if you do it for the self, to teach selfless service, being free from pride, feeling compassion, gives us satisfaction, then what to say about the spiritual life? It gives much more happiness and contentment because someday you're finally connected with your inner self. So Srila Prabhupada says, every one of us are searching after happiness. But we do not know what real happiness is. We see so much advertised about happiness, but practically speaking, we see so few happy people. This is because so few people know that the platform of real happiness is beyond everything. It is this real happiness which is described in Bhagavad Gita by Lord Krishna to Krishna. So during this Gita course, as we're covering the 9 chapters, there we will have around 12 sessions for this 9 chapter to cover. Because some chapter will take like 15 chapter, we take 2 sessions, so covering 10 sessions, plus we'll have 2 festivals, Dashera and Diwali. So we will go to the 12 sessions, and it's 9 chapter journey. In this 9 chapter journey, you're going to learn all the yogas, especially how the first 6 chapters, Krishna speaks about Karma Yoga. Many times, people find a challenge connecting work with their real life. If we work to get money, but how is work creating some benefit to my own peace, own self? And that's what the Monica Bhagavad Gita helps. How to do your work so that you're not stressed and you find a meaning to your work there. And work-life balance, and especially to understand who we are, the source of happiness there. And if you see this Bhagavad Gita till now, 10 crore copies have been distributed. And not only in India, but even in foreign countries, they're teaching Bhagavad Gita for the undergraduates. Yeah. Even in Bangalore, there's a course in Bhagavad Gita for management. Yeah. There's a professor who teaches that course in Bangalore. Okay. So Bhagavad Gita is something which is relevant for everybody. And this is our own knowledge. But now we see Westerners are learning it. The Westerners are learning and finding, and they're finding so many questions. When Srila Prabhupada went west, so many people are transformed with this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Especially the Bhagavad Gita as it is. Because it gives the complete message of Sri Krishna in such a way which is practical to our life. And that's what Bhagavad Gita promises anybody who reads it enlightened, get enlightened, and find a deeper meaning to life. So 5,000 years ago, Bhagavad Gita was spoken. It has 700 verses and 10 crore Bhagavad Gita have been distributed so far. Now a question may come, why only Bhagavad Gita? There are Vedas, there are so many scriptures. Why only Bhagavad Gita? Yes, any answer? Why we should learn only Bhagavad Gita? Why not other scriptures? Yes? The message of Vedas is all combined in Bhagavad Gita. Very nice. And here is a verse which talks about it. Sab Upanishado Rama Bhogda Gopalanandana Partha Vastra Sudhir Bhogda Bhuktam Gita Math. So there are in Veda the highest knowledge is given to Upanishad. There are 108 Upanishad. And the knowledge of all the Upanishad, Lord Krishna like a cow, churned the milk of it and feeding to Arjuna. So just like after a calf drinks of milk, it remains for everybody. So after Arjuna has learned Bhagavad Gita, this knowledge is available for all of us. So the essence of all the Vedas. To learn the Vedas, you will need many, many years. There, the Vedic knowledge, 20, 10, 20, 30 years, it takes complete dedicated this time. But to understand Bhagavad Gita, just 700 verses, and we are trying to attend at this 12 sessions, right? There, just maybe 2 hours per. See how handy it becomes. And that's the mercy of Sri Krishna. Yeah. And people go to Kumbh Mela to take baths. Right? How many of you want to Kumbh Mela? Many would have gone. So many crowds of people. But just by reading Bhagavad Gita, you get more benefit than going to take baths in Kumbh Mela. Where people go to Kumbh Mela to purify their sins. But just by hearing Srimad Bhagavad Gita, it purifies of all the shortcomings and our heart transforms. And the first acronym. Now, how we are going, so since we have only 1 hour time for the session, so every chapter has more than 30 verses in general in Gita. So it's not possible to cover each and every verse and take that application. So for that, if you see this workbook, it has a guided learning. So every chapter has an acronym. Every chapter has an acronym. See it out. There. So the acronym is given so that you can get a glimpse of the chapter. And then every section, what is happening is written so that you can, okay, इस chapter में ये चीज भगवान कृष्ण अर्जुन को बता. And then the lessons in our life there will follow. Plus, there's something special in this QR code, which I will tell you at the end of the class. So, by which you can keep learning throughout the week. If you want to know more beyond this class. So now, but before we begin, so the first chapter, Krishna did not give knowledge to Arjuna because Arjuna was talking as a friend to Krishna. In the second chapter, Arjuna becomes a student, and that's the time Krishna gives the knowledge. That's the time Krishna gives the knowledge. And in Vedic time, if you see, the spiritual knowledge is a very sacred thing. You cannot get spiritual knowledge by paying any amount of money. Because somebody who has spiritual knowledge will not be in need of that. Anybody with spiritual knowledge will not be in need of money in the sense he doesn't teach for the purpose of money. Because he understands the self-lies. But in the Vedic times, they consider Guru Dakshina. That after Guru has taught you, whatever is you should give the Dakshina to. And that's why you see all of us courses, education, it will be free. And 100 rupees is just to make a confirmation you're coming for the class. And for the purpose. It's not a fees for the course. Okay. Is basically visible towards the three sides. Everybody, it is visible? Okay. Yeah. So this point, the one person who has knowledge, he won't give knowledge for money. Because somebody has knowledge, he doesn't need money. He's satisfied. Yeah. And that's why to get knowledge of Gita is not an easy thing which you can purchase it. So Krishna doesn't give that knowledge in the first chapter. In the time Arjuna took the role of the student. And the second chapter, when Arjuna takes the role of the student, Krishna starts speaking Gita to him. So let's see the situation under the Bhagavad Gita was quoted. So, how many of you are aware of Mahabharata and think you've seen somewhere seen a TV serial or somewhere aware of the story? So, most of the people. So, cut the story short. So, as you know, Draupadi was distraught. Yudhishthira was being mistreated in a gambling match, and they were sent to exile for 13 years. 12 years of exile and 1 year of Agyatpas. If they found them again, they have to go back. Farmers completed those terms of 30 years. Now they come back to ask their share back. But what happens? Duryodhana was not ready to give them. And Lord Krishna goes for a peace mission. There. Yudhishthira tells, the Lord, you decide what is good. I don't want to do anything wrong. I don't want anything by which people suffer. What will be the good in this course of situation? And all decided that if we let the adharma happen, it itself is not good. So let's seek for justice. So Krishna goes as a peace messenger in the hope of Hastinapur. That time when Parshurama, Narada, these great sages were also there. Duryodhana knew that Krishna is coming. He made such a beautiful transgression to change the mind of Krishna. He made a chapanko. And he said, Lord, please eat it. Krishna said, I'm not hungry. I will only eat when the purpose is served. And Krishna doesn't eat all the material. When he goes to Dhritarashtra and tells Dhritarashtra, make your son come online. And if he becomes a cause of damage and death of so many people, at least give the rightful share of the point first. If not that, give just 5 minutes to point first. They also need some space, they are Kshatriyas. Duryodhana says, I want to spare tip of a needle. A land worth tip of a needle. That means I can't bear the existence of oneness. That was the heart of Duryodhana. And then what Duryodhana tried to do, because Krishna was telling that Dhritarashtra should abandon Duryodhana, that he become the cause of your destruction of dynasty. And Duryodhana tried to capture Shri Krishna. He brought soldiers. Soldiers, please come and capture Krishna. Because Krishna will can capture Pandavas will anyway lose hope. But Krishna showed the universal form. All the devatas, all the thing was shown to everybody. Others were blinded by their results. Only few people like Krishna and Rama could see that universal form of the Lord. And then Duryodhana came to his senses. And Krishna left the court and said, the wall is in everything. And then the Pandavas were 7 Akshani Sinas, around 7 lakh. And Kauravas were 11 Ashwanis. 11 into 2 lakh something, like China or India military. And now both are assembled in front of each other to fight. And that's the place Bhagavad Gita starts. So Vyasadeva wanted to give wisdom to Dhritarashtra, but he was blind to see the battlefield. But Dhritarashtra said, I don't want to see the massacre. He gave wisdom to Sanjay, who was narrating it to Dhritarashtra. So the first verse which comes is of Bhagavad Gita is Dhritarashtra Uvacha Dharam Kshetre Kurukshetre Samvedayusava Mamaka Pandavascheva Kima Kurvat Sanjaya. So Dharam Kshetre Kurukshetre. So Kurukshetra, this battle happened where? Kurukshetra. And still many monuments and many artifacts have been found of that war in the Kurukshetra in archaeological department. So that happened 5,000 years before. And Kurukshetra is a Dharmashetra because Parshuram did not get here. And it was a holy place. And the question may come, is somebody assembled to fight? Then Rash is asking question, oh Sanjay, in Dharam Kshetra, in Kurukshetra, which is a holy place, Samvedayusava. How did they assemble? The 2 parties assembled, Mamaka, my children, and Pandava's children. His distinguishing between his children and Pandava's children. And that's what they become. That I love my children but hate the Pandava's children. Kim Kurva Sanjay, what did they? The question comes somebody, if India and China comes in front of each other, will you ask what they will fight? Right? If a war happens, they will, it's not a standoff, it's a war declared of. They will fight. But why did Dhritarashtra ask a question with the family? He's fearful. Maybe under the influence of holy place, my sons will do compromise. They should not do compromise. Another fear is maybe the influence of holy place will affect the Pandavas favorably. And my children will be okay. So because of that fear, he's asking question what did they do? Okay. Then further Sanjay tells Duryodhana. So in this section, verses 1 to 12, so blind Dhritarashtra, partial to his own son, inquired what his sons and the Pandavas did in the battlefield. So see, Dhritarashtra, affection is not wrong. Everyone will have affection. But blind affection is wrong. Dhritarashtra had a blind affection towards Duryodhana. That became the cause of ruin of Duryodhana and so many other people. So even by showing affection, we should be ready to correct when people do goodness, to for their own good. Duryodhana goes to Dronacharya and describes the barriers of the Pandavas' army, and his own army compares them. But Duryodhana is very good diplomat and very good in insulting others and good diplomat. So Duryodhana goes to Dronacharya, Guru Dronacharya as a commander in chief of the Kauravas. Now he says, Tava Shishyatam Deepatam. So he points out that you see this commander in chief of the Pandavas is who? Vishnu. And you only have taught one fair to him, your Shishya. He is your Shishya. As a Vishnu is born, Vishnu is born to kill Dronacharya. Still he came to learn warfare from Dronacharya and Dronacharya taught. So Duryodhana is telling, "अरे तुमने पहले तो गलती कर दी. You are not, you have been lenient, but now we're not lenient on the there." So speaking sarcastic words to Dharmacharya there. And then he compares the army. Okay, these are the barriers on the side of the thought process. And then he says, and oh, sorry, on the side of the Pandavas, Duryodhana is speaking. And then he talks about these are the barriers on the side of ours. And then he says, our army is protected by Bhishma. And Bhishma was powerful like 25,000. This is very, very powerful. And Kauravas was based on when Bhishma is there, nothing will happen. There. And saying, and how one said, our army is protected by Bhishma. Then he thinks that other will feel how Bhishma to glorify the Amko glorify. He said, all of you also please support, protect Bhishma from other side. So use all the diplomatic tactics to have the things on his side. There is Yudhishthir, he sends the arrows. Pranam. He sends the arrows to Bhishma and Dronacharya, Kyapo Mera, Varambar, Pranam. And reply comes by arrows, Vijay Prabhu. So here, Duryodhana is expert in diplomat thing, in taking people's weaknesses and there. And here the point was who want a life of character and take a life of blessings. And finally, who is the better in three? It's a Pandavas. And that's why God sided with the Pandavas because they live lives of the character and divine nature and devotion to God. There. Now, I just took a Hindi batch and one person asked a question. That if we see who suffered more, Pandavas or Duryodhana? But I say, if you see the whole life, Duryodhana suffered more. When you have envy in your heart, no moment goes peaceful in your life. When you are feeling jealous or envious of others, you're the most destructive. And the teacher did an experiment. Teacher told the students, you collect as many number of people you hate, you have that number of potatoes with you. And keep that potatoes every time with you. Even when sleeping, also keep the bag of potatoes with you. So 3 days went in peace. After the 3 days, they start rotting. After 3 days, they start rotting. And children were thinking, when will get free of it? After 1 week, the teacher told, get rid of it. And children feel very nice, and teacher asked what the lesson from it. And children say, the more we have hatred, the more the life is. The Duryodhana was never happy of his opulence. He was always feeling jealous of the Pandavas. Okay. Creating a problem for the Pandavas. So Duryodhana's whole life was very simple. Whereas the life of the Pandavas is life of virtue. They receive blessings from everybody. They receive love from everyone there. And only the time was the gambling match, then they suffered a lot. But even when they went, Arjuna went to heaven for 5 years. Krishna was there with them. All the sages were there with them. And they lived a life. And after the battlefield of Kurukshetra, when Duryodhana died, they lived for another 36 years, where they moved the whole world with complete legacy. So if you see the opulence of the Pandavas and the happiness, it was nothing compared to anybody, any other thing. So actually, if you see, the virtuous people always be happy. So in Kaliuga, it appears, कि जो बुरा होता है वो flourish करता है, जो अच्छे होते हैं बेचारे उन पे ही. But when you see a long term, it doesn't happen that way. There were two confectioners selling the bread. So one confectioner bread was cheap because वो fungus लगेगी करके दे देता. The other confectioner bread was costly because he will meticulously purify the bread and then give. Now, this person's business was naturally less because he was selling for higher price, it cost him more. And this person just make it fungal and give it. But what happened one time? Food poisoning. And this person's shop got closed. And the person who was selling the right bread to people, his profit margin increased there. So you will see in a span of a life, people with character virtue are more happy and they get a long lasting business in life. And that should be learned from Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana. So blessings versus manipulations. So if you see the first case study, how many read the first case study? About a case where there's a family dispute. And the elders are unfavorable to you and they're favorable to the other party manipulated. So how do you deal with it? How do you deal with the situation? So one thing you will find in the life there's a thin balance. One time, Narad Muni initiated a snake. A snake becomes a disciple. And he told now, don't bite anybody. Do not bite anyone. So this snake was not biting, but all the time what happened? Some children came and started beating the snake. And then he remembered Narad Muni. Narad Muni comes and said, see, I told you not to bite, but I didn't told you can't listen. You can't listen. And then he started listening, his life was on. So if you see the Bhagavad Gita, which is a very, very practical. Krishna never told Arjuna, oh, tum hatyar chol ke bhag ke chale jao. Arjuna was running away. Krishna told, do your duty. So Bhagavad Gita teaches everything how to deal with this world very practically. In a morning session, some said, oh, if you speak truth in this age today, you will never survive. Actually, Krishna did not say you just speak only truth. He says, Satyam Vadam, Viryam Vadam, Hitam Vadam. Satyam Shivam, Satyam Viryam, Hitam. So if you read Bhagavad Gita, it's very, very practical in today's age, where there is so much impurity, so many problems around how to deal with this point. It's not just teaching non-violence, okay, just people keep exploiting and keep getting exploited. Many times people think that, but it teaches us to learn to deal things with character and principles. Okay. So you see the case study here, there's a family dispute. But the Suresh, before the meetings, visits the same uncles at home, touches their feet and says, whatever decision I will always respect and seek your blessings. During the meeting, the uncles are still opposing on some points, but also speak kindly about him and agree to certain terms in his favor. Now, question comes, which approach you will choose? Which you feel is better, Ramesh approach or Suresh approach? You got it or should I read the full again? Okay, so I might want to answer which approach you feel better and why. Suresh. Right? How many of you agree that Suresh approach is better? Okay. And when it feels Ramesh approach is better of manipulation and things. So in life, when we deal with cool head, these are cool head, many problems get solved with a cool head and good heart. Cool head and good heart. So when we wish well for everybody and do things with cool head, things get solved easily. But the question of how to get a cool head? How to have a good heart and cool head? And that's what the message of there's a message of kingdom. Many times, Karna, Duryodhana, these people say, we know what is good, but we are not able to do good. We are attached with the Rashtra. But Pandavas never said this because they were different. So Gita brings the divine nature in us, the determination to do good. If you see, during the time of Satyuga, the Devas and the Danavas live on the different planets. In Dwapara Yuga, they came on the same planet. So actually, if you see, the Kauravas are representing the demons and the Pandavas representing the Devas. So it was youth between the Devas and the Dandavas. So Duryodhana was Kali, the king from the Nimat Kavacham Kali, who came there. And Duryodhana had a vision. Duryodhana's time, Duryodhana was passing till death. And that time the Dandavas came, Baba, we are sent you to fight on the Dhyar, don't die. And they gave no knowledge. And the Pandavas were the sons of the Devatas. Yeah. Now in Kali Yuga, both Asuras and Devtas are in the same body, same person. So we have a good dog, we have a bad dog. So sometimes we know these things are not good, still we give into it. This is human nature. That's a human nature. To err is human, but to keep repeating error is not human. To rectify ourselves is human. Yeah. So we become divine by rectifying the mistake. But how that good dog becomes nourished when we are satsang, association of good people. And in the sea, they are a product of an association. So if we more come to the satsang program, this Gita course, learn it, you see the positivity automatically increases. And that's the way we change. Okay, so going ahead, the ominous result, verses 30 to 20. So the Dhritarashtra, the Duryodhana, they all blow their conscience. You see the arti happen the conscious blow. The same the better field also they will blow the conscious. Because they call it as a dharma. They call it as a dharma. There's no night warfare, Italian missile, civilians पे डालती है. Today war happens, civilians suffer more than the army people. There. The whole world is in danger कब मर जाएंगे if a war happens. There. But in the very time, it was very strict rule, only soldiers will fight the soldier, no civilians will. That was against the rules and regulations. And Ashwatthama did it, break the codes and kill it. It was so much content, even by the rule. There. So people fought wars with there. So, so they know and their conscience didn't have much impact. But when Krishna blowed his conch shell, Anjanya, and Bhima, the other conch shell, Devdatta and others, the heart of the god was shattered. So that was a sign of victory for the Pandavas. Plus, when so victory is always on God's side. So what had happened before the battle, they were having allies. So both Krishna, the both wanted the support of Krishna. So Arjuna went to, okay, I will go to Krishna to ask support. Duryodhana came to know from his messenger. He reached before. So both reached the same day, but Duryodhana reached before, but not Krishna was sleeping. So he found a chair near the head of the Lord and sat on the chair. And then Arjuna came, he sat on the feet of the Lord. When Lord got up, first whom he saw? Krishna. Then said, oh, first I teach. And I want help for the God. Krishna said, I will help you both. One side will be my Narayani Sena, and another side will be myself. But I won't lift any weapon. I won't lift any weapon. And first choice is Arjuna. You know what Arjuna chooses? This is not, I want you. Wherever, yeah. And Duryodhana was very happy, the sentimental Arjuna. He chose Krishna without any weapon. And that time, when Duryodhana went, Krishna was Arjuna, okay, why did you choose me? Should I ask my Sena? No, you can win. Arjuna said, my Lord, wherever you are, that's where is good fortune. That's your Madhava, the husband of Shri, the goddess of fortune. And there has to be. So one time Duryodhana was criticizing Bhishma, you're not fighting for your fear of wisdom. Bhishma said, Master of destiny is sitting on the chariot version of what can be. The same way, when we have God in the life, it brings clarity. It brings divine purpose. It brings serenity there. And that's what Bhagavad Gita is teaching us. And moreover, there were signs, different signs. Like there was a Kapi Dhwaj. Kapi Dhwaj. Hanumanji's emblem on the chariot of Arjuna. It's called the Kapi Dhwaj. So what is Kapi Dhwaj? Then because Hanuman told when Bhima will roar, I will take my roar to it. Because roars also make people weak internally to fight. And Hanuman was there. Then the chariot was given by Agni. So all the signs of and Lord Madhava was sitting on the chariot of Arjuna. Now the question comes, when you see any movie, how the hero is introduced? How the hero is introduced in a movie? Huh? With a lot of focus. First his boot will be shown, then he's flipping the head, किसी को मार रहा है. He's shown like a hero. Now who's a hero of Bhagavad Gita? Who's a hero of Bhagavad Gita? Krishna. How he is shown? As a chariot driver of Arjuna. So Lord doesn't like to be shown as a big person. No? I'm just serving my devotees. And this sweet relationship with the Lord and the Lord is ready to do anything for us. He's becoming a chariot driver. He doesn't feel ego problem. And the Lord of the whole world, how can they become somebody's? Is somebody like Birla Ambani, will they become somebody's driver? Krishna, the Dwarkadhish, is becoming a driver of his friend Arjuna. So this is the nature of the God. And so now, this section is uncertainty. So Arjuna says, Arjuna Vacha Seyo Vayo Mathe Vedam Sthapene Shitaha Yavadeta Deshena Yodha Ukaman Vasvidam Kemarya Sayodhavyam Asmin Varna Samudre. Take my chariot, O Achyuta. So Achyuta means one who never fails in giving protection to his devotee. Oh, Arjuna is ordering Krishna, take my chariot and bring it to armies. And I want to see how somebody to fight. But what happens? Where Krishna takes his chariot? Where Krishna takes the chariot of Arjuna? In front of Bhishma and Drona. Krishna knew this problem will come in the time of battlefield. That's all it was. So even if the devotee is facing problem, Lord wants to show what you will face tomorrow. So you get it solved now, so that future you can do much better. And therefore, even struggle becomes blessing in the life. So Krishna put the chariot in front of Bhishma. Arjuna's heart affected. Arjuna's heart affected. When he saw the other fight on the religious only, grandfather Krishna. See, just like you see India, Pakistan, what happened? Indian general goes and sees in front Pakistani general is there, who's my mama. What will happen? Becomes a big news or not? And आपको यूजर से जनरल को निकाल नहीं सकते, but Arjuna is the most mighty warrior here. What depends upon Arjuna. And this is like previous warfare where people will fight. Now the fights happen with Raphael and the Agni and the Brahmos, right? So but previously the generals will come together. And that's the situation. Now can you say in any situation be more dense than this? Lakhs of people's lives is at stake. Lakhs of people's lives is at stake. Such a tense situation, and that's the time for the people to spoken. It's not spoken to a Muni, to a sadhu. It's spoken to Arjuna at the battlefield. And our life is also a battlefield. We're facing so many challenges, so many difficult things. How to take the right decisions and the right purpose, the right clarity, and that's what teaches us. So Krishna took the chariot and Arjuna gets bewildered. Bewilderment of Arjuna. In life, sometimes we say, no, we will do this. From tomorrow, we take this ambition, we'll work very hard for this. And after 24 hours, we're mindfully. And Arjuna gained with great vigor to fight. Arjuna alone had defeated Bhishma, Karna, Drona at the battle of Vigara. Together. He was great valor. His counted great valor appears of hope. Morning, Krishna had promised he will be victorious before. But now see the relatives, his mindset, and I gave a suggestion. Indian generals or the Pakistani general. Mine? And she, oh Lord, by killing relatives, what will we get? You don't deliver that. So I'll give you another case study for it. So there are two case studies, one for Prabhuji's males and one for Mataji's. So are you going to read this? So I'll first show the Prabhuji's one, then I'll show the Mataji's one there, and then we'll have. So Suresh, 42, works as a mid-level manager in the software firm. He lived with his wife, his school-going children, then with parents. Parents expect him to be available for doctors and employee activities and daily support. His children need him for studies, sports, and emotional time. His office demands late night work, calls with international clients if he wants to grow in his career. Parents, wife, children, work, all four directions checking. Right? So he feels constantly pulled in different directions. If he gives more time to parents, his children feel neglected. If he invests too much in family, his boss complains. If he's too accommodated, colleagues exploit his nature. Like Arjuna, he feels paralyzed. What's my real dharma? Okay. And then another case is study of lady. Another 38 works as a senior project lead in a multinational company. She lives with her husband, two young children, her aging in-laws. In-laws experts have to maintain household traditions. Children need her attention. Office demands late night meetings with overseas clients. And her husband also expects an emotional support. Now she feels concentrated on. She gives more time to career. She feels guilty about neglecting her family. If she focuses more on family, she worries her career growth is gone. If she takes to please everyone, she feels exhausted and unappreciated. And like Arjuna, what's my duty? Okay. So this is just some samples. How many feels that kind of metaphor? Similar kind, not exactly. We all will have some kind of metaphors in our life balancing. May not be exactly. Not in this case. See, there are higher principles and the lower principles. The Niti Shastra says education should be good. Somebody has burnt your home, somebody has taken away your wife, somebody has put fire to your home, taken away property, should be good. Isn't it? Dharma Shastra says oh, if your relatives are there, you should follow. So Arjuna is confused. What should I do? And that's the time he approaches Krishna. Then what's my dharma? And Krishna didn't give the answer in one verse or two verses. He spoke whole Bhagavad Gita just to clarify these five questions of Arjuna. So we saw the one question, four more reasons will come up to five, and it gives the clarity of dharma. So Arjuna was giving the reason based on Dharma Shastra and Niti Shastra. Krishna gave answers based on Dharma Shastra. Who are you? What's the purpose of it? So in our life, when we know what's the purpose of life, when we know who are we know our inner self, we can make right priorities. We can make right priorities. And that's where the Bhagavad Gita helps us there. So in this case, these two people are publics. I have this duty, I have this duty. But which is a more important duty? Where to balance. And when you have a right purpose in life, there's a divinity in it. You have energy, you have focus. But when the purpose in life is not clear, the focus gets lost. You can't put heart even in your work, in your home. But when the purpose is clear, everything you can do with the right purpose, with more enthusiasm, with more confidence, and that's what God does to us. So Bhagavad Gita is not teaching you to live up your work and just become a sadhu. It's teaching in form of Arjuna how to do divine work. The first six chapters talk about how to work in this world. How to work in this world. The middle six chapters talk about how to work for God. And the last six chapters talk about how to work for God in this material. So that now is a divine journey. Bhagavad Gita is a divine journey which connects all our aspects of life, personal, family, and professional, is such divine wisdom of Bhagavad Gita. And as the session goes on, the divine wisdom will unfold. The divine wisdom will unfold, and you must be clear direction and purpose. So as we go, so the answer is if they have somebody to guide them, to help them, the right values, they will be able to balance their situations much easier. And the turning point of Arjuna, he gives, I do see any good can come from killing your own things. Nor can I, my dear Krishna, desire any subsequent victory, kingdom, or happiness. And if you see these 5 reasons, Arjuna gives for one fact. The first is, if I kill my relatives, we should be compassionate. So let me not fight. Second reason, if our relatives are killed, even I get a kingdom, how will I enjoy? Better I live by better. So Krishna, we don't know whether we will lose or win. If we win, our relatives are dying, even our brothers will die, then what is the use of a kingdom? And if I lose, anyway I will lose, so what is the fight? So I don't see any benefit in the fight. Let me go and back. Very powerful reason of that. And the third reason is, if we kill our relatives, Bhishma and elders like Drona will get sick. Fourth is, see, elders are dying, then all traditions will get lost. People will go to the point of adharma. What will you do? The dynasty will get destroyed. And the fifth is unhappiness. So 5 reasons Arjuna gave why not to fight. And how many of you? These are quite convincing reasons. What we discuss. And how did Krishna refute them from the second chapter? The next session. There. And next session will take in 2 parts. Because next week is also Radharashmi. It's like we celebrated Janmashtami. It's a Radharashmi celebration of the birth of Shrimati Radharani. And it's more merciful day. So we'll celebrate a part, but we cover the half chapter. The second chapter is very big, consisting of 72 verses. First chapter has only 38 verses, 38 43 verses, but the second chapter has 72 verses. So we make it 2. And all other chapters will do in one sitting. It's there. So there are all the reasons is there, and we learn who we are. Slowly you learn what is the purpose of life, unfolding from the knowledge of Gita in intense situation. And after giving all these 5 arguments, what happens? Arjuna says, having spoken the battlefield, cast aside his bow and arrows, and set down the chariot, his mind overrun with grief. Is it enough? Now, if you see, Arjuna has gone into stress, into negative thinking. And that's what happens with this. But before we discuss this point, let's understand how our mind works. What is mind? How our mind works. So we do one exercise, close your eyes. And after closing your eyes, imagine a picnic. You have the last picnic you remember. And you just think you're going to the picnic, what wonderful items, food stuff you made, how you enjoyed there, what all masti you did. Just think about it. Now open your eyes. So when your eyes are closed, so which place you went? You were here or you went going somewhere else? You went to the picnic spot? How did you felt you went to the picnic spot? But you're sitting here, body is here. Then what went to the picnic spot? Mind. So body is here, but mind can expect the whole universe. Whatever you think of. And that's mind. So my question is, while you're doing this contemplation, you felt bad or good? You felt good? How many of you felt happy remembering those good memories? So that's the power of mind. Now, if I say, remember the first moment in your life, you say, for that we have not come here. Right? We have come to gain some peace and we are making us remember the what? So this is the power of mind. In a moment, it can take you to positive. In a moment, it can take you to negative. So what's happening with Arjuna is thinking everything will be negative. And his confused with this. His bow slipped from his hand. Confused. So Gita teaches us how even amidst negativities, amidst reversals, how to be positive. How to be positive. If you are positive, if you are having connection to one positive source God, then in a difficult situation doesn't get difficult. And that was a life of us. And in Duryodhana's life, everything was positive, one just kept thinking negative. And that's the session that Krishna is giving, bringing positivity when person has become completely negative. There. And that's what this Narita Bhagavad Gita is going to bring something divine within us, something better within us. And the journey. So today the journey has started. So let's hope and pray that we continue this journey as we started today. And in case we have to go travel some things, there will be recordings, something you can ask the facilitators there. So now we do a small exercise. So I told you to write here expectations, but we could hear only from few people. So now I would like to introduce, we have four facilitators with us. So please come up to the microphone. Yeah. Abhay Govind Prabhu. So I'd like to introduce them who are there with us. Abhay Prabhu is coming. Abhay Govind Prabhu is coming. Venkatesh Prabhu, we have Jani Mataji, Shivani Mataji, and yeah. Okay, you may replace one and we can do that. Yeah. So we have our so we have Abdul Naik Prabhu. His name is also Kashish, which we use in a normal sense. And Prabhu Prabhu is an AI engineer and this opening that introduction. So Prabhu is a senior AI research manager in Flipkart, Abdul Naik Prabhu, and he has been practicing this Bhagavad Gita, this is the Bhagavad Gita since 2005. So 20 years. There, 20 years of experience. At the same time, he has done his master's from the University of Michigan, US, in AI, artificial intelligence. And he's from Lucknow and now settled in Bangalore with his family, with wife and okay. So because we have so many people and if you have some questions, some things, it may not be easy for me to cater there. So we have four more facilitators there. Then we have, so we thank Prabhuji for giving us time here for the sessions. Then we have Abhay Govind Prabhu, this Dr. Abhay. So what happens in the spiritual life, we get some spiritual name also. Like you heard Ajamin's name was Narayan. So that's what this name is there. Their name is Abhay, Dr. Abhay. He's a dermatologist. He's involved in the Stanban Hospital in Sajapur. He's there, so he's kindly agreed to give this time, and he's also been practicing from last 12 years. This was live. I remember 2013. He came in contact, and from that time there, and he's been practice medical there. So we have him. Then we have Janvi Mataji and Shivani Mataji. So this I try to brief for them. So So Janvi Mataji, she's an electrical engineer and is working as an executive engineer on an electricity board. But moreover, Mataji is so much really so beautiful. So they do a lot of services there, and they're also available for Mataji's for answering, asking any questions and things there. And your Shivani Mataji, so she She's an MSc and she's a homemaker. And she did 7 years practicing this life of Bhagavad Gita. And she worked for an NGO in the past and was completely dedicated for the kids and giving time to others. So Mataji took the kids classes, and that's how we have so peaceful session there. So we welcome this. So as an exercise, and we have Venkatesh Prabhu here. He's the so both Venkatesh Prabhu and Janvi Mataji, they are husband and wife. So Prabhu is taking care, managing this whole event. All the ACC projector is there, everything is there. So many devotees are with us. So they are taking on that brunt. Plus, we have many more team of devotees, Suresh Prabhu, Sridhar Prabhu, and they will managing all this. Otherwise, it's not easy to obviously. I'm just coming and giving a class, but they are working so hard in the background so that all facilities, the sadhana, so many people involved. Because Krishna says, when you give this knowledge to others, becomes very dear. So it's inherent. You just don't give this knowledge to others. We want to help others to get this knowledge, and that's the selflessness of this devotee working so hard to give you a good experience over here in your journey as you are keep coming over here. So I will make a small 4 groups, and there you can share your expectations from the course and have some interactions. So Mataji's will make 2 groups for Mataji's. So maybe you can help them making the 2 groups. You can sit in a circle like this, and behind same way for males with now one day I'm calling Prabhuji Mataji look very so generally it's a matter of respect. So males we call Prabhus, and for women we call Matajis. Because the Vedic culture is that a learned person is who sees every woman as mother other than his wife. Right? So therefore we use the word Mataji as a matter of respect. So don't see the word ki, okay, Mataji is elderly looking. That's the outer convention. But why we speak as a matter of respect, because that's the Vedic tradition is. So don't mind this word. And same way, Prabhu means to give a sense, but we think ourselves as Das, as a servant of the Lord. Okay. So in that you see, the same way we have both these devotees. So you can make 2 groups and you get to share your expectation or learnings outcomes. So that also helps to have an interaction. So we do it for 10 minutes and then the prasadam is waiting for it. So thank you so much. There, maybe one question I will take before we end up. Any one question? Any one question? Or you can also ask the questions after the session is over also. There are no questions. Okay, so break into groups. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So before we break into groups, we would like to again thank Prabhuji for such a wonderful class in the Vedic manner that we did this part. And how do we do that? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you, Prabhuji, for such a wonderful class. Now, as Prabhuji mentioned, we will break into 4 groups overall. So facilitators from there can actually create circles, and the facilitator can own one circle. Similarly, here also, Prabhu, you can own the second half, and the first half people can form a circle. We will have a discussion or any queries, questions you might have.